outside. I think I still got enough of it. Get out of here.
Yes, sir. The key to my success lies in this baby right here. Oh, take me home.
Well, now I'm going to be honest with you. When you're 47, 48, 49 years old, and somebody says you want to play senior softball, the first thing that goes off in your mind is, no, I'm not a senior, okay? Because you think of seniors when you're 47, 48, or 49 is somebody 75 years old. But the actual category starts at 50.
And I've got buddies of mine up north that I used to play with, that, were good players, and they don't know anything about senior softball. And I've talked to a few of them here and there, and they say, you're playing softball? Well, come on, what do you guys limp around, and then you get to first base and you have a beer, and then, and then you take your wheelchair to second. And I said, no, it's a little different than that.
Keep going. Hold it. You got it.
Hi, Mom. Send money.
We went out west, nobody said we could go out west and beat the western teams because there's so many of them, and there's so many more people in California and the Arizona area, and there's so many more of our seniors, so many more retirees, and we went out there and kicked their butts. They've come back, they've merged teams together, they've added guys in, they've got some new people. It's going to be great in Vegas. It's going to be a shootout. I mean, it ain't going to be easy to win in Vegas this year. It's going to be tough. We know that. But that's okay. Hey, we got 3 new guys too. So get your horses, we'll get our horses, and we'll have a pull-off. We'll see who can do it. So we're not afraid. We're not intimidated about that. We want to go play the best. And why? Because we think we're the best.
Patty Mac, that's my boy. He's a lot bigger than me and a lot better looking. He's a motivator. People love Patty Mac. He's just the country boy. Patty Mac, great hitter, 900 hitter at times. He's had a rough year this year because he's got a torn meniscus and he's gone through a lot of medical problems. But that's what extra innings is all about, man. You fight through that.
Honestly, my first impression, I thought he was kind of he was a little pompous ass a little bit.
I'll show you first pitch. I'll show you what a girl swings like. I drew you right in that forehead one time. Oh, that's what she said. You're not very good under pressure.
When we get together, if we don't, rub each other's face in the dirt 3 or 4 times, we're just not having a good time.
Anytime I had a boyfriend brought him home, it was always the talk of the crowd. Have you met Krista's dad? He is huge. Do not mess with her. He is very intimidating.
He's the first one to jump up and tell a story, and always tell a story that will motivate people.
He is a big encourager, and that's just his all-around just love for life and for everybody, for his family, for his friends, for his team.
If he gets quiet, there's a problem, So, yeah, he's never, ever quiet. I mean, he's constant. Doesn't matter how bad they're losing or whatever. He said there's always the next hit. We just got to hit and we got to win.
Nobody quits. Hey, nobody quits over here. Let's go.
He offers to go on field trips. If there's mother or daddy things that, we can't be there for because of work or whatever, he's there. He was the most amazing dad. He's an amazing softball player, but he is the best grandfather. I'm not sure if this is too personal, maybe, and my sister may have said the same thing, but he's not really our dad.
Anybody can be a biological father. It takes a real person, a real special person, a real man to step up and do what Pat's done. They call him Dad, and to be honest with you, I doubt very seriously if they ever think about their biological one.
Oh, yeah, will that go out of a 300? I think it will. Not bad for a one-legged man, huh?
I just think it's amazing that these guys, what they put into this, and it really is not a joke. I mean, it is a big deal to all of them, and I think it's great. I think he should do it as long as he can.
I'm 2 months from retiring after 38 years. I've been with the school system. I get up a certain time every morning, I do this, I take a shower, I shave, I do this, and when all that's going to change, so... But I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I'll be able to go eat lunch with my grandkids and pick them up from school and take them to ball practice and stuff. So all things grandpas do. I'm really looking forward to that.
What you doing, baby?
I lost my best friend in the world June 1st to be 20 years ago. That was my brother. My brother died when he was 43, and he was the most healthy person in the world, man. He runs 7 miles every day, played college football. had headaches, went to his doctor on a Monday. His doctor sent him to have an MRI on Tuesday. Thursday, he had a meeting with a neurosurgeon. That neurosurgeon told him, he said, you've got a tumor that goes here to here. And he says, we got to have surgery immediately. And my brother said, well, when is that? And they said, Saturday. This happened in a week's time. And he said, you need to do tomorrow, Friday, see all your family. He said, there's a 50% chance you're not going to live through the surgery. And you need to get a will. And so that kind of brought life into perspective for me. Man, I enjoy every day. I enjoy every breath I take. I try to stay up late, and I try to get up early. So, because when you're sleeping, I'm not aware of what's going on. I want to know what's going on most of my life, the rest of my life. You know, I hope I can stay healthy for a while, and just hang around and aggravate my wife some, and be good to my kids and my grandkids.
That part of his life has been nothing but an inspiration. As sad as it is, he finds the positive in it.
I wasn't a mean person, but I was aggravated at the world. I didn't understand. I was hurt. He was my best friend. And a lot of times I just go sit on the back porch by myself. I didn't want to be around the girls. I didn't want to be around her. And she just finally had enough. She said, I'm done with this. I'm not living like this. About a year into it, she said, we got divorced. It was my fault. I just wasn't the man I should have been. I wasn't the husband. I wasn't the dad. We got back together, and we've been together ever since. We got remarried, and my brother's death didn't cause that, but what I went through in my life caused that. I thought depression was just something people made up. You know, well, I can get over that. I wasn't getting over it. I mean, Teresa had left me, and you know, I'm out there, and I'm just like, I could cry or I could choke somebody. I mean, everything was wound up together. You know, it was a lot of emotion, and I've tried to be more like my brother since then. Be more laid back and listen more and smile more and be more understanding, and I've tried since then to be the best husband, best dad, especially the best grandfather. You know, I want Peyton, all my grandkids to remember me like I feel about my grandfather. I mean, when he passed, it was like losing a dad, you know. And so my legacy, I want my family to say, he was always there for us, you know. So that's what that's about.
We're visiting, guys. They called it. No, I called it. It was a rig toss. Everybody up here. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Toss!
Boy, done. I don't want to time that pitch. Man, don't put that. What inning win?
The real thing about senior softball, besides the competition, I'm going to be very, very honest with you, is the people. These guys are all the same age. They came up in the same environments, knew the same songs. They were influenced by the same things that occurred in the country. And so we have this commonality that when we get together, we know what each other went through.
Back then, you know, times were different, and all my softball buddies, we'd tell these stories to each other. You got in a fight or something at school, you went up and the principal says, you want the licks or you want me to call your dad? And you just say, yeah. I said, my handprints was on the wall at the principal's office. I knew what, and nowadays you get arrested by a resource officer and you get cuffed and you get assault charge. You know, it's just things are so much different. And those guys all relate the way we grew up. Our mom and dad said get outside and stay outside, and you found things to do. You didn't have to entertain. You didn't sit in the house and watch TV, you know, and so all these guys relate to that.
When Evel Knievel jumped the Snake River Canyon, you say that to a 20-year-old, they don't have a clue. But you say that to a 60-year-old and they're like, yeah, I remember that. You know, well, hey, I happened to be there that day. John Wayne, people don't know who John Wayne is. I mean, we see a lot of things like that. You know, I watched the program the other day, The Rifleman. Hey, I was 7 years old the first time I saw that. It made an impression on me. I wanted to shoot a rifle like The Rifleman, right? You know, when I say The Rifleman or Sky King or Fury or any of these type things, to somebody my age, they know exactly what I'm talking about because they came up at the same time and they were watching the same things on TV and they experienced the same thing. So that commonality is just really cool to have.
All right, Bobby, pitch him hard, baby. I know it did. I'll show you. Good luck, guys.
All the way out to left center and wait for him to put one step and do it.
Need a Holly sitting right here. Let's go.
Ah, let's go. Come here, Jack. Turn it. We gotta have seven. We gotta have seven right now.
Let's face it, it's like you take a time, the sand clock, and you flipped it over. And we can see where our life's going. I mean, if we're in our 60s. So if we're a calendar, we're in October, okay? You know,
Damn.
we're in October, and so your priorities change. I mean, I've always been an aggressive, hard-charging businessman. We're trying to do this, we're trying to build, we're dragging everybody with us. But when it really comes down to it, what do you have at the end of your life? Yeah. And then it comes back to what you were talking about, the dash. What does the dash mean?
Yeah,
What's between that birth and what's between that death?
I guarantee that never ran a football because I was a great running back. Get that on a camera. That I bet you he never played a sport but tennis or quates his whole life. Now he's running around like he's super man.
Chip has a big heart too. He just, doesn't like to show it. He's one of the tough guys. Chip's a great ball player. I mean, pound for pound, one of the best, if not the best hitter on our team. I love Chip, man. Chip's a great guy. He's a man of his word. And, Chip could have went with a lot of the teams, and he chose to go with us.
My name is Charles Krieger, but I'm known as Chip Krieger. I'm 64 years old. I've been playing softball probably 40-some years. I started playing softball, I'm going to say 1972. In New Jersey, I still play with the younger kids. I still play with 20-year-old guys, 30-year-old guys. I'm fortunate that I can hit, so I can still play with these guys. And they are, in all, pretty respectful. But they'll come up to me and they'll go, what about, that senior team and this and that. How many guys can hit like you? And I just look at them like, because you're a idiot. There's a lot of guys who can hit like me. I mean, if I was all that, I'd have my own TV show, right? Like Ed Sullivan had his own TV show. He couldn't do anything. I could do more than Ed Sullivan. So the thing is that, I just look at him and I say, well, these are the best players in the country. Yeah, I like to think I'm one of those guys, but I'm not the only guy. There's a lot of great senior softball players. I've been in the car business since 1971, which me and my father started. My father mostly started. At that age, I was pretty much just somebody that got in the way, fucked everything up. My dad was a big-time race car driver. He raced the Daytona 500. He raced Darlington. He raced all them big races, which they're now called Winston Cup drivers. So at that time, he was a legitimate Grand National driver. When I was 17, I started racing cars myself, modifieds. I raced against some big-time race drivers, Jeff Bodine, Ron Bouchard, guys that made it big. I raced for 4 or 5 years. My mother was always complaining to my dad, possibly I could get hurt seriously, so my father just told me, I can't take it anymore. He had heart problems, my dad. He had bypass surgery twice, and his heart just, eventually it gave out, I had open heart surgery in 2008. Actually, they call it, medical term is bypass coronary surgery, but to us and everybody else, you're getting slit. I had it done the next day. And Tuesday, I went home. I'm not saying, hey, everybody go out and get open heart surgery, but all I can tell you is they've come a long way, because I remember seeing my dad. He had his done in Temple, and he was all wired up, and phew, it's a real, real check on your brain when you see your dad, any of your family member laying there like that, wires coming out everywhere, And if I didn't get that check, I probably could have just, popped. So I was very lucky, and I had no, knock on wood, I had no heart damage. So I was very fortunate. So that's the deal with that. Now that you had to bring that up, you're miserable.
Roger Tabor. He's probably one of the most helping guys on the team. A lot of guys don't know this, but he'll call me up and say, Ed, I want you to do this and this for that guy, but don't tell him I'm doing it. Great teammate, a good player. Sometimes you don't get the ball he probably should, but that's all right, man. I mean, you know what I tell the guys when we lose a game? Okay, we lost, guys, but I'm glad I'm on this team with you. And I'm glad Rogers is on this team.
Now let's go. Come on, gotta have it. Let's go. Audie started. Let's go, bud.
How he is on the field is how he is in life. He is everyone's biggest fan, biggest supporter, biggest cheerleader. It's such a blessing that he's so close to us and that I'm able to see my kids grow up around him.
If there were any times that there was, a shortage of money or they were struggling to make ends meet, as kids, we never knew it. He did not want us to know that. When he was a child, he knew a lot of that kind of thing. So he has always kind of sheltered us in a way that it was adult business. It didn't need to be worried about by kids.
You're just trying to keep yourself going.
My husband, along with all the other guys out there on the field, give it 110%. No matter what age he is or whatever, he still gives it his all. That's the only way he knows how to play.
For many, many years, we've heard that he was going to retire. And he retired for a little while and then would come out and play. And then he would retire a little bit, but he couldn't stay away from it because it was really his passion.
When people ask me, how are you enjoying retirement? I haven't even, that's not even, I don't even know what that is now. I can't believe how long the days are. And I'm sitting around the house and do whatever I do around the house. And then about noontime, I'm going home. I'm waiting for my wife to get home from school because she teaches school, and it's like a little kid going, "Oh, my mommy's going to be home at 2:30," And I'm just about over that. So it's strange,
I think it's going to be an adjustment to just kind of figure out, okay, I can step back and relax and enjoy this part of life and go fishing if I want to, and that's a good thing.
He's not one to just sit around and not have something going on, something to do. So I'm kind of curious to see how it plays out.
I do something every single day of my life that is directed toward playing softball. Something that I do, whether it's run 3 miles on the beach, whether it's come home and play that game, whether it's go to the gym, whether it's to go hit, I do something every day of my life that pertains to the game.
Right now, let's go. Come on, gentlemen. Right now, guys.
We do live longer now. When you get to be 75 or 80 years old, which is not a long time down the road from me, I don't want to be hobbling around. I just do not want to be that way. Now that I've reached my age, I look around and see guys every day that are my age that are barely getting up and down. Keep your mind active and your body active, because if you shut either one of them down, you're done. Go into your local towns and see the 30 and 40-year-olds out playing games. I'll tell you something, you would be shocked at how many times we would go take those guys to school.